If this gives you the heebie-jeebies, you're not alone. Over half of people are afraid of these. Is it spiders, clowns, or elevators? Jim was a grieving father who was deleting a bunch of old voicemail messages until one of them refused to disappear. How to never lose that one piece of paper you'll desperately need later. It's a way to organize your life. And he's an actor whose net worth is hundreds of millions of dollars. And the fascinating thing he says about all that money, that's coming up on The Good News Show with Andy, where I'm all about putting a smile on your face and hope in your heart.
The Good News Show with Andy.
The number of the day is
53% of people are afraid of this. Is it spiders, clowns, or elevators? It is clowns. Whether it's a little creepy crawly bug or a big life change, fear can freeze people in their tracks. And that's why I'm so glad that God put 365 different places in his word where he reminds us not to fear. So let me know if you have a story where you turned fear into faith.
I have kind of something silly that I'm afraid of.
It's all right. Just found out that over half of people are afraid of clowns. So irrational fears are welcome.
I am deathly afraid of heights. And for my granddaughter's birthday, she was determined to get Grandma on those water slides. I finally made it up the steps to get to the top of the platform for the water slide. And I had to hang on to my son and shut my eyes. But I did it. My granddaughter and I had so much fun on that water slide for the rest of the day, and she still talks about me and my little breakdown. I kind of teared up, and she said, I told everybody you were crying, and I said, Grandma wasn't crying. I was just getting emotional.
It was a big moment.
To go there, get in a swimming suit, and do that for my granddaughter, just to let her know that, yeah, Grandma can still do that.
I hope the songs today help you choose faith over fear, just like it did for Jeremy.
When I was listening to that song, this thought came to my mind. I wanted to share it with you to get your comment, is that fear is nothing more than a masked opportunity for us to grow in our faith walk with God.
Yeah, fear is an opportunity. They were talking about this in my church this weekend. I wrote it down. Let me share it with you here too. That we aren't called to be comfortable. I've been noodling that ever since on Sunday of the things that I do in my life because I want to avoid whatever. Avoid fear,
Yep.
Avoid confrontation, just avoid being in community with other people. I just avoid talking to people because I'd rather just not deal with having to have a conversation. Because the breakthrough we're looking for is on the other side of our fear.
I hope this story makes you smile today.
After Jim's daughter's funeral, he was going through his phone, deleting all the condolences messages. And there were so many of them, he just did delete all. But there was one message that was stuck there. It was the last message his daughter left before she passed, and it was marked as new. And, sometimes your voicemail will make you listen to the message before you delete it. So he pushed play. She said, "Hey, Dad, I just wanted to let you know I'm okay, and I'm home now."
It's your daily dose of goodness with Andy.
Trusting God is better than any success this world can offer. His word says that unless the Lord builds the house, the builders work in vain. Movies aren't real life, but I bet you've got a moment that felt like it was straight out of a movie. The other day, I felt like I was in Little House on the Prairie. I go to the mailbox, and there was a letter in there. And so I run inside, and I go, "Family, we've got a letter from Joe, my oldest, who is in basic training, and we have not heard from him in over a month because we can't call." It was the first letter we'd got. So we all gather around. My kids are, fighting to read each page. And after not knowing what he's been up to for the last month, worrying about, is he okay? Is he going to make it? We find out, yes, Army basic training is hard. Yes, I miss your cooking, Mom. But also he said, I have friends that love Jesus. I've never been closer to him. And I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. I don't know how many times God needs to confirm this in my life, but it was another example of how silly it is to worry about the unknown instead of just trusting God. If you got a stack of bills and other mail you just don't know how to organize, here's a way to level up your life. Keep it from piling up with a 3-step process. Stand by the recycling bin to open junk mail and just drop it right away. Then put the rest in full folders, 4 folders. There's the start folder, that's your to-do stuff. Stand by, things you need to wait for something else to happen. Send, stuff to pass along. And store, things that need to be filed. Then just check that folder once a week and never lose an important piece of paper ever again. Jesus started his public-facing ministry when he was about 30 years old. Then he died on the cross, rose again, and went back to heaven about 3 years later. So those 30 years before people really knew who he was, they weren't wasted. They were spent preparing and growing for eternal impact. And what if the time where it doesn't feel like God is doing anything in your life is time he's using to prepare you for something great?
You are awesome.
He saw someone unconscious at the bottom of the pool. He jumped in and saved the stranger when nobody else would. And he isn't even old enough to drive. So 11-year-old Avery Woolery,
You are awesome.
he's an actor whose net worth is hundreds of millions of dollars. And what Will Smith says about having all that money is so fascinating. It's your daily joy scroll.
None of it can make you happy. Once you've bought everything you want, and there's literally nothing on earth else that you want to buy, there's nothing that material can do to satisfy you. It's like drinking salt water. You'll never get enough. You're just going to make yourself more and more thirsty.
Isn't that interesting that Jesus in God's word says he is the living water, and when you drink of him, you'll thirst no more. Prayer has the power to transform your fear into faith. It can remind you you're never alone. Everything you are, body and soul, is in the hand of God, whose presence fills the universe and who is as close to you as your own breath. No matter what this unpredictable world sends your way, with God by your side, you can find the strength to confront your fears. So you can pray right now to welcome God's healing power, his transformative power, by saying, "Hey God, I'm sick. I'm frightened. I feel so alone. Hear me, heal me, be with me. And God, please bring me back to you." And it looks like you've got a text from God. Respond differently than the world. Bless those who speak against you. Pray for those who mistreat you. Let love guide your response.
Giving help to a stranger, sharing with your neighbor, turning darkness into light, loving God and loving people right.
Carol had a strange idea for a high-security prison. She wanted to start a quilting group. That meant convincing prison leaders to allow scissors, needles, irons, and fabric into a place where none of those things are taken lightly. But Carol had spent 30 years teaching inmates, and she learned that if you trust people, lead them well, and give them a reason to care, they might surprise you. So once a week, men serving time for serious crimes sit down together and sew. They use donated fabric, old sheets, and scraps from prison clothing. Over 4 years, the men finished a dozen quilts, each one going to a local shelter for women and children escaping abuse. All happening inside a prison built by inmates more than a century ago. But these men aren't building walls anymore. They're making something warm for people who need to feel safe. And that's how to love God and love others. If you need this encouragement today because you are on the job hunt and it doesn't seem like anyone's getting back to you, a career coach says if you were an athlete training for a marathon, you'd have rest days and you'd take breaks. So when you're looking for jobs, you got to do the same thing. God modeled this in his word, that he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day, he rested. He didn't have to. He did that as a gift to you. And you don't have to feel guilty about it because even when you're resting, God's still working.